For more on what's been happening with the dollar, let's bring in Ashraf Laidi. He's the chief market strategist at CMC Markets. He's in London, a top forecaster. And Ashraf, thanks for your time. First of all, your take on what's been happening with the dollar so far today.
Well, today is actually what we're seeing today is not very different from what we've been seeing in the last 3 or 4 Mondays, which is basically declines in the dollar and a recovery in the stock market.
Why do we see it on a Monday? Any significance there?
I'll give you the short answer. You know why? Because we see a dollar recovery and a yen recovery every Friday in the last 4 weeks. And that is interesting. We've been seeing a sell-off in oil and towards the end of the week, a decline in risk appetite that would prop the dollar a little bit up and it would prop the yen. But just to take a step back here.
Sure.
And you said some of the higher yielding currencies are doing well, like the Aussie and like the Canadian. But John, the upside has been increasingly limited for the Aussie, for instance, around a 93 level. For the Canadian dollar, or would say the dollar CAD, has been finding a support at 105. What I'm trying to say here is that when you look at equities, rising equities that would drive down the dollar, there is only so much the equity market is going up on dollar weakness. We
so
have
that relationship,
not seen evidence.
That relationship is weakening, you're saying, between the equity and dollar?
From the sense that aside from dollar weakness, we have not been seeing any economic evidence that would justify more upside in the stock market. Look at the 1120 level in the S&P.
Sure.
Look at the 10,400 level in the Dow. It's been very hard to break above those levels.
Hey, let's talk very quickly about one other key level that a lot of people talk about, 150 in euro dollar. It's one that you watch closely as well. What's your expectation as we end the year? Are we going to see the euro strengthen above that level, or are you going to see people come back to the dollar?
We could very much see, 151, 152, but not much more, because the last 6 weeks, the last 5 weeks of the year is really the period where we could see some of the unwinding. But the unwinding of what? The unwinding of the risk appetite trades that have been going on this year. So we could see some dollar stabilization towards this, the end of the year.
All right, Ashraf, always appreciate your perspective on what's happening in the currency market. That's Ashraf Laidi of CMC Markets.